2.
Yo, people, welcome back. Lateness is greatness. Welcome back into the building as per usual. Battle of the North on a Monday. Listen, we got a lot to go through this weekend, and obviously Champions League in midweek as well. There's been some shock results, some big results. I think there's a little Leeds Man City game that we got to get to. But before we get into that, Steve, how have you been? It's been a good week for you and a bad week in a way.
Yeah, it was a mad result, that, to be honest. I mean, it was one of the first games I'd missed for a while. I had to work. I couldn't get out of it. And I was on a photo shoot down in the middle of a wasteland, and my mate had it on his phone, and we're watching the game. And anyway, I came back home, and I sat back down and watched it. And you've got to give credit to Leeds. I thought they played really, really well. I thought that they went down to 10 men, and they didn't crumble. Thought he got compact behind the ball. When we put it out wide, they squeezed us out wide to force us back into the middle. And then when we forced us back in the middle, they came compact again. And I think he had them really well drilled. And to be honest, I mean, you know, you've got to be disappointed with it. We're losing to 10 men at home when you're so close to a Premier League title. But sometimes you just got to give people credit. And you know what? There's a lot of players that don't probably play regular in that team that he's tried to give a chance to for that game. And they didn't step up and cut the mustard. So some of the players have got to look at themselves. But I'm not taking anything away from Leeds United. I think Bielsa got them sorted. I think the massive 99% of teams going 10 men at the Etihad would crumble and just try and defend it. And Leeds they did defend it, but they had a plan. And you could see just before the second goal, when Rafinha went through, he should have scored. So why Pep's not then twigged it and thought, you know what, let's just sit back and relax. And you know what I mean? 1-0's not the end of the world, is it? You know what I mean? But he didn't. And we got caught a sucker punch at the end. And all credit to Leeds. I just feel sorry for the Leeds fans that they weren't actually in the stadium to see a 90th minute winner like that, because it had just been pandemonium for them.
Yeah, I'll go straight over to you, Connor. That was, I mean, what was your initial reaction after winning that? Because obviously, I mean, for you, your season's just in limbo. You're probably not going to make European places, so not a bad way up in the Premier League. How are you feeling after that result?
You know what? It was a bit weird because me and my mates were talking after it, and it was an unbelievable result. But we seemed to do well against ball-orientated teams, and I had a little bit of a. It wasn't that I had a feeling because I was coming on and saying it was going to be 3-1, 4-1, all this sort of stuff. But City are a team who I think, you know, I mean, the first time we played them, I thought we deserved to win that game as well, and they had the big hitters on there. Yeah, it was early on, but we're an awkward team. We're a weird team, and we're pragmatic. And Bielsa's changed in the second half of the season. We're a lot more defensively resolute. Listen, no team has ever gone to the Etihad in the Etihad's existence for 50 or more minutes with 10 men and come out with a win. It's never happened in the existence of the Etihad. So it's an unbelievable result. And for those who say we can't defend, well, if we wanted to, we could defend, but that's not the plan. That's not what we want to do. That's not what we want as fans. So we go into every game attacking it, really. And I sort of came out and I thought to myself, I didn't enjoy that game. I didn't enjoy it. It was the first time we've been outran this season, and we were just camped in our box. And I thought to myself, you know, imagine if you're a Burnley or you're a West Brom and you go into every single game against the top sides and you have to do that. You know, we don't do that. And it was different and it was great. And but next season when we get better players, I'd want us to try and go toe to toe if we could.
Yeah, it's one of those ones where it's just a freak result again. And I don't know, Akeem, if you want to say that Man United is still in the title race after that weekend. But
well, I wanted just to comment on. Obviously, I was a couple of minutes late. Unfortunately, I was actually watching the clip when you laughed at Leeds beating City, Matisse, last week, which is towards the end of last week's video. You said it was an absolute joke. There's no chance. You spent a good 2 to 3 minutes saying how bad Leeds is at defending, how there's absolutely no chance they're gonna get a result against City. And like I said,
you should have clipped that and sent it to me. I could have put it in the intro.
He's just called it a freak result as well. The disrespect coming from
do you know what I find mad? I find mad is like, literally, I think it was 3 or 4 weeks ago, and I come on here and I was saying about the England team, and I mentioned 2 players from Leeds, Ayling and Stuart Dallas. I'm not even a Leeds fan, and I can see that they're quality players, and both of those boys had absolutely fantastic games against Manchester City. So,
Mike. Well, I'd completely agree with what you're saying, mate. But Stuart Dallas is from Northern Ireland, so yeah, fair enough. But
you go. But either way, look. I just think. I just think. Look, it was a great. Obviously, it was a great win for Leeds. They were pinned back. I couldn't believe that that City didn't beat them once they went down to 10 men. I think somehow, City seem to have this problem sometimes when they have multiple, 15 plus shots on goal, and they just don't score more than one goal, or they don't score any. It happens now and again, it seems. It's almost like they're trying to be too intricate to get it to score. I know De Bruyne had a few chances from long range that could have gone in. Obviously, it was a lot of luck that was involved as well, but I think we do have to give respect to Leeds for showing everyone. I think the best thing what Leeds showed is, again, what everyone has laughed at them for all season, saying that they're an open door. They're an open door. They're
to say that they have not been defensively solid this season. I didn't expect them to concede one goal.
I think if I can just chip in there, I think the second half of the season, as I said, we've become way more pragmatic. Bielsa knows that the turning point was when we went to Old Trafford and got absolutely spanked. That was the turning point. And since then, the results, they haven't been like that. We've not been taking drubbings, and if anything, we've been losing by the odd goal. We've kept 9 clean sheets. Like, I know we've conceded goals at the start, but I do think that was the first half of the season job.
Connor, has that affected, like...
Go for it.
Has that affected your attacking play? Now you're defensively more sound.
I think it's a good point, to be honest. It's we've definitely lacked a little bit of creativity sometimes, but overall, I think we've just adapted really well. I think we've come into it a little bit more. We've realised we've got our feet. It takes time to play our style of play and really acclimatise to the Premier League. But I'll be honest, boys, I think it's decent to be a Leeds fan at this moment in time, and we're going to see what's going to happen against Liverpool and Man United in the next couple of weeks. I think Man United is going to be a tougher task because of how they transition through the thirds and how good they are at counter-attacking. But I think Liverpool, honestly, I'm looking at Liverpool at this moment in time. I'm thinking centre-backs weaker. You've got to think last time we played Liverpool, it was like the Avengers. It was like the Avengers. And now, you know what I mean? It's like the plumbers. So it's going to be it's going to be interesting to see us against you this weekend, mate, I think.
Yeah, it definitely. I'm looking forward to it. I don't know what to expect. It could go anywhere. It's going to be a mad game.
To fix his Wi-Fi.
I thought it was just me. I
was waiting to see. I was waiting for a comment on it.
I'm back. Hakeem, the boy that didn't play against Leeds, mate.
Yeah, it was some guy with spiky hair. He shot a few times. Can't remember.
Someone's paying attention. The reason why I say
sorry.
The reason why I say, just to wrap up on Leeds, is despite maybe you've been a bit more pragmatic in the last few games, you are always conceding double digits in shots, and that is something that's very repetitive in even in the games where you only concede one goal, it is always 15, 16, 17 shots on goal for the opposition. So I just expected Man City to get a few more goals, but credit to you, you actually did show a lot of resilience in the fight back. I don't know why you're smiling, Akeem, because you're still not in the title race.
I'm laughing. No, I was laughing at the comments tonight. The title race is still on. I did say I would concede the title if Leeds lost to Man City, and they didn't. The gap would go down. United done the job against Spurs. Steve was absolutely itching and sweating watching that game, hoping that Spurs was going to do them over to save them their blushes. They didn't. The gap's going to be down to 8 points in a couple of days. And then the heat is on next week when you go to Villa, or when Villa comes to you, I believe. Villa's going to do you over. And then the gap's going to be down to 5 points. And that's where it's going to get a little bit etchy. 6 games to go, 5-point gap. I don't know if you can handle it. You know, that's the reality. I don't know if you can handle it, because the difference between United and City is that we know how to perform on the European front as well as the league at the same time. It's not something you're used to. You're in the Champions League and you're in the Premier League. You need to decide, because normally City don't know how to actually do well in both competitions at the same time. Do you, Steve?
Listen, the difference between Man City and Man United is that we actually win trophies now and you don't. So there's a big one for you. The second one is we don't get caught when we're ahead like you did. So no one on the blue side of Manchester is worried at all. You can have your 2-1 wins against an absolutely abysmal Tottenham Hotspur team.
3-1, actually.
Sorry, 3-1, yeah. Well, I don't watch you know what I mean? So that one, I must have missed that last one. And the other thing is, at the end of the day, we've lost.
I don't watch you boys. I don't watch you boys either. That's why.
You do, mate. You do, because you would know an awful lot about us. Because you can't. You're obsessed with it, mate. Now, you know what I mean. But listen. No one's worried, mate, here. No one's worried here. Your lot are over there. You're all confused. 1 minute you want your manager out. Next minute he's now going to win the title. So what is it? Is he Ollie out or Ollie in, or is he not? I don't know.
I've asked Akeem a few times this question and seems to dodge around it.
He knows deep down.
Yeah,
he's done the best. He's done the best out of any Man United manager for years. And you, all your fans want him out. So what do you actually want? You know what I mean? What do you actually want? I don't get it.
He's not done better. He's not done better than any manager in the last couple of years. In fact, he's the only manager that hasn't, in the last 3 managers we've had, that's not come home with a trophy.
No, talking in the league, at least you're half challenging. Mourinho and that was nowhere near it, really. He was second, but he wasn't. He never thought he was going to win it. Listen, you're forgetting something as well.
He won trophies, though.
You was top of the league for 2 weeks and going on like you'd already won it. We was losing to Tottenham 5-2, losing... to Leicester 5-2, losing to Spurs. We was out of it. City is shit. Pep Guardiola's lost it. He's a bald fraud. And now you're like, oh, if we cut the gap down, it can be 8 points. Well, listen to what you're actually saying. He was that far ahead of us earlier on in the season. Shouldn't even be having this conversation. Well, that's how good we are.
We shouldn't. And you've had a great run of form, 100%. But the season's not over yet. That's the point. You know it's not, Steve. That's the problem.
Yeah,
you know that the heat is on. You're not going to be
elite. We're playing elite European opposition. Like
Dortmund's like sixth in Bundesliga.
You're playing a bunch of farmers from Spain. Yeah, it was the worst football I've ever watched in my life. I've never seen anything as bad in my life as that. It's embarrassing.
Granada's a good side. Let's give him a bit of respect there.
But they're 9th in their league, though. They're 9th or 10th.
Yeah, I know, but give him a bit of respect. They're good outfit. Good outfit.
Do you know what it is? Yeah, no matter how many times, I keep on coming on here and saying that Man United are out of it, and I keep trolling the Keem and saying it's done. And then every single couple of weeks, there's something that I've got to redeem myself for. Whether it's the Man United going to Man City and winning, which is what.
Oh, Matisse needs to fix his internet as well. What is this?
Yeah,
I'm telling you, honest to God, man, Jay and Matisse are in the same house, man.
You think the goal had just gone in the way he's reacted there?
Wow. Can I just say, I know we're talking about Man United and Man City and all that, but just the Everton team that's just come out against Brighton is absolutely dead. It's dead.
Is it awful?
We've got so many injuries. We can only put 8 youngsters on the bench. We haven't got.
You can't complain about injuries, mate.
Go on, give us your team.
What do you want? The Everton team. So we got Olsen in goal. Ben Godfrey, Holgate, Mina, Keane, Coleman, midfield, Luca Dean, Tom Davies, Gylfi Sigurdsson, James Rodriguez. Up front is Richarlison. And then the bench is Iwobi, Nkunku, Vagina, Broadhead, John, Tyra.
You said Vagina.
Yeah, that is his name, Vagina, yeah.
No way.
Yeah, his name's actually Vagina. Jao Vagina.
No way, bro. No, I'm not having that, bro.
But
look, what are they going to do if he scores?
Who scores? No one. No Everton players scoring tonight. He's a goalkeeper.
Vagina scored the goal, yeah?
He's picking balls out his box.
Hey, so Vagina scores a world, yeah, and he says, "What a great goal by Vagina." You know what I mean? It's a bit awkward, that.
Oh man!
Wow! And West Brom are 2 up. Interesting.
You've got that. You're well. Listen, you're what 8 points behind West Ham now, with 2 games in hand. You think you can still make the top? I mean, if Hakeem thinks he can win the title, surely you still think you can be in the top 4 race?
No. The only place Everton's going is backwards.
Oh, you haven't won that in your last 3, to be fair.
Yeah. I'm serious.
Wow, Mike, you're only 2 points ahead. You're only 2 points ahead of Leeds. You're 2 points ahead of Leeds, Mike. After all of that.
Exactly. And I'm not going to Brighton tonight expecting to win. I'm expecting no more than a draw. Then we've got Tottenham and Arsenal. Tottenham will beat us. Arsenal will beat us. Honestly, mate, the season's done.
No,
it's finished.
they won't. You won't
they
lose
will.
To both of those.
Mate, have you seen our team? It is dead. We're done.
You can't say nothing about injuries. I wasn't allowed to say about injuries.
I know we can't. I get it.
Remember when you first came on and you just beat us at Anfield when it was a gift shop? You was all like, you was giving it.
Whoa. I give Liverpool credit. Straight up give Liverpool credit, man. Me and you were like bromancing on that show, and man's just dug me out now, allowance.
Mike, don't worry. You've got Gylfi Sigurdsson, so you'll be all right.
Cheers, mate. Thanks. Cheers. Appreciate it. Fucking hell.
And then finally, Jay, with your win over the weekend, but more importantly, clash. Any hope there on Wednesday night, or are you calling it a wrap?
Boy, you know what? I think it may sound a bit crazy, yeah, but a 3-1 defeat is better than a 2-0 defeat because of that away goal. So I give us about a 25% chance. If we had the fans in, I would be like, right, we could definitely do it. We've got proven history. I don't know. I'm not going to write us off, but Madrid, man, they're just quality. Like in Champions League, they when I was watching their midfield, just absolutely trolled and bossed our midfield. Our midfield couldn't even get near them. The technical ability that they've got, we couldn't even lay a glove on them. They was just popping it around. And the thing about it, when they lost the ball, how quick did they get it back from us? We showed no composure. We was just hoofing it long, and it was kind of the same in the final when we played them. Their midfield and their ball retention was a different level to us. And you know, they exposed the weakness at the back with our centre backs. One hoof from Kroos out into Vinicius. I was like, oh mate. And Alisson's having a mare lately. So I don't know. We'll see. But you know, still in the tie, but the small percentage. We never know. The
issue you've got with Liverpool, and this is again, I'm praising Liverpool, but when it comes to the Champions League, you just can't write them off. You can't write them off.
But is that's mainly down to the fans being there in that 12th man in the second leg, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%.
Don't have that now. Because I think Dortmund come back and the Barcelona come back as well.
Yeah, I think we got to play that. We got to put a CD on throughout the game with fans and pretend there's fans in there. That might help. You know what I mean?
You do that anyway.
I got to say, I don't.
Oh, that's the TV. That's the TV, mate.
I don't think I've seen Liverpool. I don't think I've seen Liverpool get outclassed like that in the Champions League since when you lost to Barca in the first leg. That was the last time. I mean, you could have lost by more. I mean, 3-1 was a good result for you.
Yeah, but Hakeem, the Barca game, we still had chances in that game against Madrid. We was blunt. We was like a butter knife trying to cut a steak, bro. It wasn't happening.
But to be fair, that Barcelona game, you could have lost 5-6-0. I mean, that Dembele chance in the last kick of the game, That's
You know
literally.
what I thought as well, Akeem? You know what I thought as well? Madrid had a couple of breakaways right towards the end, and they fluffed up their chances to get the fourth. And I was like, that happened against Barcelona. I was like, maybe.
Yeah, I don't think no more. It's not going to be a corner taken quickly. Everyone, no one. That's not going to happen again. Okay, I'll be honest. It's not going to happen.
We'll see. You never know.
Almost 2 years ago now.
Like Mike said, all right, mate. Yeah, it was 2 years ago, but you still talk about 99. So please, 2 years, I've still got credit in the bank.
You need to try and get Origi back. You need to get Origi somehow. I don't know how you're going to do it, but
Origi's done. He should have cut off the locks. Origi should have cut off the locks. And Mane should have got the transplant, because ever since Mane had that transplant,
Jesus Christ. These are the new excuses. We've gone from injuries to haircuts now for Liverpool.
Sounds worse than Grizz.
Mane is, well, I don't know what's happening with him. I don't know. Like, have you ever seen that? Have you ever seen that movie, Bambi? Have you seen that movie, Bambi? Yeah. Like when Bambi goes on ice, he's just skating around everywhere. That's like Mane. He's just all over the place, running into play. He's an absolute mess. So, I don't know, mate. But we'll see. Fingers crossed.
It's going to be interesting. I want to go back to Leeds and Everton, mainly because Everton are about to play soon as well. Mainly also because Leeds got the most impressive result of the weekend. But
decent,
decent, you know. If I can get similar this weekend against Man City in the FA Cup final, I'll bite your hand off. But Connor, what's the long-term projection or hope for Leeds in this Bielsa run of results? Obviously now coming up into the Premier League, having a great solid first season, playing good football, now getting a bit more pragmatic. Do you see you guys going chasing European honours next season in terms of trying to qualify for the Europa League, or where do you see this team going? Or do you think you might get picked off in the transfer window?
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be the challenge, isn't it? I mean, Rafinha's the one. We just have to keep hold of him. He's magic. I genuinely think he could fit in pretty much any squad in world football. He's that good. He's probably the best. Highly, yeah? He's probably the best. He's probably the best player. Maybe Harry Kewell was up there when he was at his prime at Leeds. He's probably up there with Harry Kewell. He's phenomenal, and you saw it against City at the weekend. He does it against the best, and our owner has come out and said he wants us to emulate the Leicester model. So what did Leicester do? They sold Mahrez, they sold Kante. So I do envisage us having to do that at some point, because we're going to have to do it to sustain. But we've just got such massive backing now. The club is set up in such a good way. Like I said, the 49ers are behind us. We've got arguably the best coach in the world. So it's difficult.
Hold on.
I was with you for a second. I was with you for a bit, Connor.
No, we're getting people speaking here. You know, you've got Ollie Solskjaer. I mean, let's not even go there, Akeem. You know, good players. But let's not. Come on, man. Come on, you'd be winning leagues if you had Bielsa. Pep Guardiola said after the game, if Bielsa was in charge of City, he'd be winning titles.
Listen. Everyone stop listening to Pep's opinion when he said Claudio Bravo was the best keeper in the world. No one listens to what he says post match after that.
Bielsa is rated quite highly, though. Let's be real.
It's whatever you think. Like, as I said, Pep said it afterwards. He said he's never had one of the top jobs. He's never had one of the top jobs because all the top players wouldn't run for him like the bottom standard players do. So he's never had a top job. So if he was given a top job, he turned down the Barcelona job apparently. So it's one of those. If he was given a top job, would he win titles? I think he would, but he's never been given it. So you can't talk about how many titles he's won, this, that, and the other. When you look at player improvement, player development, he's improved some of the best in the world. Now.
I agree. I agree with what you're coming from. I don't like comparing managers just purely on trophies won either. I think it's not fair. There's a lot of managers that are very, very good, if not great, that's never won anything because they've never had the opportunity. So,
and Akeem also, I will add to that. I said coach, not manager. Coach, making players better.
Even true, even very, very true. And Bielsa, no, look, all banter aside, Bielsa is one of the best coaches I think in the world. He's just not the best. I mean, that's where everyone probably perked up a little bit. But in any case, what Connor said is definitely true from that side. I agree with him.
Do you worry about losing him then? Because if he, you know, if we're talking about the standards here, your club would have to progress at quite a rapid rate before other top clubs come in for him, wouldn't they?
Yeah, well, he's about to sign a 2-year deal, so I'm pretty confident. But yeah, no, I think the projection with him is very good. I think we're already in contact with 4 or 5 players, and I think they're going to be top players. I say top players. We've found some steals, and we're going to have to continue to find steals to be able to compete top 8, top 6. But it's difficult, isn't it? Because you turn around and you think to yourself, you don't want to be ignorant. But I do see Leeds pushing for maybe top 8, top 9. I do see that. That's the trajectory I'm looking at, and I think everyone at Leeds United is looking that way now.
But I think that's why you said the Leicester model, didn't you? And Leicester are a great example of you know, they sell big name players, but they bring in players of equal talent that maybe goes under the radar. Like, you know, when Chilwell left, Tony Castagna can play both footing and is equally talented, if not could have even a better time at Leicester. And there's plenty of players that they bring in that go under the radar and have now become some of the best in the league. So that's why Leicester is such a well-run club, though. To replace the likes of Mahrez, to replace the likes of Kante, like Akeem's just said there, Chilwell, the array of players they've had to get rid. Even Maguire. I know it sounds daft. I know you all laugh, but Maguire with Johnny Evans, and to be top 3 still. It's unbelievable.
The fees they're getting, though, is 50 million for Chilwell, 40 for Drinkwater, and 80 for Maguire is ridiculous. And even Ian Ashford now has looked like replacing Vardy as well.
I think they use the money for Maguire on Ndidi, Evans, and Söyüncü. That's just unbelievable.
Ridiculous recruit, and they've all worked out as well. It's ridiculous.
I mean, I think Castagna cost about 22 million or something. Something like that. It's just crazy.
I still can't believe we've got Tielemans. That is just that. When I see him in a Leicester shirt, I'm just like, what is going on? Like,
and even on top of that, Brendan Rodgers has improved Kelechi a lot as well. So there's a lot of improvement. For me, they're the best run club in the league. I've said that all the time. You know, they are the best run club in the league, and they don't get enough respect.
Obviously, off that Leeds game. It's just killing me. They're really trying to kill me today. Wait, Mike, your visual's not saying too much. What's going on there?
What are you about? What?
It's half time at the Everton game, mate.
What was that?
Don't lie to me. What is my internet? Is my internet messing up now?
Yeah, but no, it's just you. Your visuals just went off for a second. I didn't have a clue what was going on. But Steve, I mean, off the back of that result, now your game against Dortmund's not really over, is it? That 2-1 lead, that goal kind of maybe took the. Do you have any nervousness going into that game, taking the wind out of yourselves with that away goal for Dortmund now, going over to Germany?
Do you know what makes me nervous? Pep makes me nervous. I've said it before in the Champions League, because until that lineup's announced, I have not got a clue what's going on in the guy's head. I mean, the guy's unbelievable and we love him and I'm never going to criticise him ever. But he just scares me to death. It's like at weekend when he puts the team up. And yeah, we know we've got Dortmund, but Benjamin Mendes, Zinchenko, Nathan Ake, and you know what else pisses me off here? People go, oh, Man City, you've got a big squad, you've got this, you've got that. Yeah, but the second team isn't nowhere near as good as the first team. So you can't compare Mendes, Zinchenko, Ferran Torres, people like that to the actual big name ballers. Now I'm a great believer.
To be fair, those players were brought in to be some of the best in the world. They were brought in.
No, they were brought in to be squad players.
For 50 mil.
Whoa. Mendy weren't brought in for a squad player, were they?
Who wasn't?
Mendy wasn't.
Benjamin Mendy was not brought in to be a squad player.
Benjamin Mendy's had 2 cruciate knee operations on both knees in the last 3 years, so he's nowhere near where he should be. So he can rarely get a game. Zinchenko was a midfielder who's been playing at left back, right? So they both squeezed him in the team. He's never played in midfield for Man City, but he did the other day. You've got Ferran Torres that's hardly kicked a ball. He's been used sparingly. And Nathan Ake's just come back from about 6 weeks out. And then Ruben Diaz, who's arguably best player, going to get player of the year, he's dropped. Kevin De Bruyne's dropped. And then it's like Aguero doesn't even make the squad. He's doing press-ups at home to prove to everyone he's fit when people tell him he's not fit. So what the fuck's going on? This is what I'm on about. This is why I'm not going to come on and say all that, because Leeds done a number on us and you've got to give credit to Leeds. And then players, if you finally get a chance in that team, then you should up the game. So Ferran Torres should have upped his game. They all should have upped the game and gone, you know what, I'm in contention for the game against Dortmund. But the thing is with Dortmund, what you've got to watch with them, they've got the machine up front, which is like, the guy is a machine, and if he hits, if he's on it, then he's smashing you apart.
Yeah.
So we're a bit scared about that, and we get caught in the counter attack all the time. So it's just one of them games where I think I can see goals, and I just think it's going to be a shootout. And I think once City start getting in a shootout, we end up losing because we end up shooting out with Tottenham, got done on the VAR. We end up shooting out with Monaco, got done on that. So I'm just literally, you know what? I'll admit it. I am a little bit nervous. With it. And
it's a shame Sanchez.
I also think
would have been a serious game.
Say again.
Go on, Mike.
No, I also think obviously Jude Bellingham, in my opinion, got a perfectly good goal in that Man City game as well.
By the way, that was the worst call of 2021. That was awful.
Awful.
Have you just seen the West Brom one?
Have a look at the West Brom one.
Jude Bellingham,
what, just now?
Jude Bellingham pissed me off because it was a great goal and Ederson got away with it there. That pissed me off. And do you know what else pissed me off as well? Rodri falling on the floor as if he'd been hit in the face when he got kicked in the leg. Really annoyed me. And I hope that the players, I mean, because I know for a fact, I've seen Vincent Kompany there when players have been waving cards, grip them and say, "No, we don't do that here, mate." And I hate that. And they hate that. When Rodri did that, they hate that. So yeah, I am a little bit nervous. I thought Dortmund are a bit hit and miss, but when you've got him up front, it's just, you know, he can pick. He could do nothing all game, get one chance, and you're backing him to blast it in. That's how I feel about it.
But it is even like even the game where we played at the weekend, Steve. When it was 11 versus 11, we still City were having all of the ball, 100%, and we were pegged back. But as you just said, they're so susceptible to the counter attack because there was 2 or 3 in the first half where Leeds got themselves in such good positions. And there is that blueprint for City, and that is it must be a worry for Pep. It must be.
But when he plays Kyle Walker on one side, Cancelo on the other side, there's your pace, yeah. So you're not getting caught in a counter attack with them two because Walker's rapid, Cancelo's the same. You look at the pace. You've got John Stones. You have no Diaz alongside him, so you're losing pace there. You've got Fernandinho running back, trying to just break everyone in half, and then you've got Rodri there that's not covering. Because he's not playing. It's just a mismatch, and I think he's trying to give everybody games because we're in cup competitions. I understand it, but
Steve, do you think it's to do with the fact?
Do you think to do with what? Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, you cut out there, Keem.
Oh, nah. Yeah, I was just going to say, Steve. Do you not think? Yeah, Steve. Do you not think it's partly down to obviously, because you're in 4 competitions, he's trying to over-rotate the squad too much because he's worried about burning out, obviously.
Yeah, exactly.
And ultimately, what is leading to now is a bit of a mismatch.
Yeah, but it frustrates you because
it seems like that.
Look at teams, United '99, Arsenal with the invincible team. They were playing Saturday, Wednesday, Wednesday. It was the same team all the time. They were not getting burnt out because there's an opposite effect to playing regular as well. It's rhythm. So you can get burnt out, but you can get rhythm. And if you're in a winning team, you don't want to lose your spot and you don't want to rotate. You want to keep the rhythm. So I think you find an extra 10-20% in every game because you're part of that winning machine. But these foreign managers, I mean, a bit like Pep, he just sometimes he does overthink it. And if that's any downfall of that manager for me, it's that. And I had City fans texting me going, "You're seeing the team," and I'm like, "No, I haven't seen it." And I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, well, to be fair, on paper, no disrespect to Leeds, we should win. And then when they go down to 10 men, I just thought, hold on a minute. And I'm looking, and you know what it was? Leeds were more intelligent than us off the Bielsa had them more intelligent than us, and some of them play. If you've got a Kevin De Bruyne on the pitch, he can find them little gaps, and he can have a look what Leeds are doing, and he could probably put them into little traps, and we'd probably get through. But looking at the players we had on the pitch against them, they were side-to-side players, Leeds played perfect into Leeds' hands, and Bielsa just had a plan. As soon as they get the ball, rush them out wide, squeeze them out. We'll play it back in the centre. They're going to try and come through the middle. John Stones was on the edge of their box. What's John Stones going to do? What's he going to do?
They shut off the passing lanes really well, Leeds. But you know what's funny? I think Leeds could have won by more goals because Rafinha on the break a few times could have made a better final decision. They
laid traps. They laid traps for us. They gave John Stones the false thing as if to say, "Oh, John Stones thought, fucking hell, I can play on the edge of the box here." They just laid him into a trap. As soon as they got it, John Stones hadn't got the engine to get back, and then they beat us.
The thing is,
brain. Someone's got to have a brain to see that. You know what I mean?
The thing is, though, even when you look at just City as a blueprint, they're not great in the air. So you look at football in 101. Let Fernandinho have the ball on the edge of the box. Let him have it. 'Cause then he's just going to have to hit it from outside of the box. Stones is going to have to do something similar. Cut off the pattern lanes between Jesus and Sterling, who were trying to funnel it down the centre. Put them out wide, which is what we did. Really simple football. And then they put 37 crosses in, and we've got big centre backs. It's not overcomplicated. But I think Pep he gets drawn into it with Bielsa as well. I think with City's talent, you know, you look at that game at the weekend, and just like Steve said, you bring De Bruyne on 70 minutes and he wins you the game.
If you've got De Bruyne, Mahrez, Bernardo Silva, and Gundogan on the edge of that box, one of them's putting it in the top corner because you can't risk it. Fernandinho, Rodri, fucking who was it? Ferran Torres and Johnny Stones on the edge of the box. You're comfortable.
Yeah. Do you not think like? I know obviously Aguero's had a lot of issues this season, but you know, let's be honest. Like, as much as I hate to say it, if you had Aguero in some of these games, you would have everything. You know, you'd have won some of these games by 3 or 4. I mean, Gabriel Jesus, he just doesn't have the footballing brain like Aguero. He doesn't move. He doesn't move into. He doesn't move into positions. Yeah, he doesn't move into positions like Aguero does. And unfortunately, you know, that is the sort of player you need. You need a striker who is much more intelligent off the ball than Jesus is, and I don't think he is.
World-class striker. That's what they need. But
Matisse, you know, the problem is, I think, you know, and I don't know if this is something that Pep, it may be a weakness of Pep, but he seems to have a favoritism thing where, and you know, you saw that from the day that Jesus walked through the door. He loved him to bits, and it's almost like he wanted him to succeed. He just keeps playing him. It's like he just.
No, the thing is with Jesus, though, what people need to understand, Akeem, everyone thought he bought Jesus to replace Aguero. He didn't. Gabriel Jesus next season will play wide. He will be playing wide, trust me. Because when he plays for Brazil, he plays wide and he plays well. At the minute, when we've had no Aguero this season, and he does play him up front. And one thing I'll say about Gabriel Jesus, in that system that we play, he's really good at the front for pressing. He's never going to be a 20, 25 goal striker. He's not. But if you look at the amount of times he runs at a goalkeeper, makes the goalkeeper misplace it, he challenges a lost ball. That's the kind of player Jesus is. And I know Brazilian players aren't usually labelled like that, so it's a bit misleading. But for me, watching him week in, week out, he's a great player for us. And what he does, he's not going to replace Aguero, and he's not getting you 20-odd goals a season, but he is a workhorse up front, and he has been games where we need it.
So you need more than just a workhorse, though. You need...
Yeah. Uh-oh.
That's what you're lacking.
You need some internet.
Focal point on it.
Steve, have a word, Steve.
He's gone. Like his head is on.
I think he was about to say Timo Werner and the internet disagree.
Man, he put some money in the meter, Matisse, Bob.
He's gone. He took over his channel.
I see. What about there he is. What about wait.
Man's Steve, gone on 2G from 1G. What's this?
Yeah, go on, man.
What about Sterling, though? Don't you think Sterling kind of...
Mike, you've actually seriously.
Sterling?
Yeah. Like,
same thing with Raheem. I think he's suffering a little bit from this rotation thing. I think every time he has a run of games, he seems to get into a rhythm, and then he seems to be on it, and then all of a sudden He's dropped for 2 or 3 games. He's played on the other side. He's put on the false 9. That's
the reason why. That's the reason why a lot of people said Sane wanted to leave. You know, Sane just didn't want to spend his key 3 or 4 years of him growing into a world-class player. You know, playing 1 week here, 1 week there, 1 week here, 1 week there. He wants to play 30, 35 games a season. Whereas in that City team, as a forward player, you're only going to probably play 17 to 20 games, unfortunately. It's too much rotation.
The thing with Leroy was his own downfall at the end of the day. His attitude which stunk the gaff out a few times. And you know very well with Mahrez and how Pep plays him. If Mahrez can be unplayable at some times, and then at some games he stinks the joint out, and the next game he's nowhere near the team. And I think that's just the way Pep Guardiola is. Like you say, I just think that's the way he likes to do it.
Guys, just to apologise, I've got to go. I've got to get ready for my live stream. Everton take on the mighty Brighton at the Amex Stadium tonight. a game the XG Kings. For both sides, Everton should be 17th in the table. Brighton should be 3rd. Come over and watch us at 8:15. Up the fucking top.
See you later, Mike.
See you later.
We will lose. We will lose.
Little brother, get out of here, little brother. Little brother, see you later.
Mike slagged me off there about my Wi-Fi just before, and then my thing just started cutting out even more, which was ridiculous. I can't even remember where we were, but I think the thing for me with Man City is just the focal point. I think that's why you're going to be in for a top striker. And everybody says, "Oh, Man City don't spend on this player or that player." I think you're going to have to. You have no choice because Aguero is leaving, and you can't replace him with Danny Ings or any of these other brothers you've been linked with. Do you know what I mean?
No, I know what you mean. Just let me address that in the chat there. Pyramid scheme, yeah. They only talk about attitude when black players get out of here. That is absolute bullshit. Because let me tell you why I talk about Leroy Sané's attitude. Because I've met Leroy Sané many a time. I've met him in airports. I've met him on the outside training ground. And his attitude is shit. So the reason I'm telling you Leroy Sané's got a bad attitude is because I've met the guy personally. And anyone who knows the players at Man City will tell you that his attitude is a problem. So nothing to do with race, colour, anything. It's just basically is the guy had a bad attitude problem, and he don't fit. Pep Guardiola don't suffer them attitudes. He gets rid of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he doesn't.
Zlatan Ibrahimovic, Ronaldinho, Joe Hart, Samuel Eto'o. The list is endless.
I thought Joe Hart got bombed out because he wasn't good enough on the ball, though.
I think he was, but I think what happened with Joe Hart, I got told everybody knew Pep Guardiola was coming in, and he was told that he had to work on his groundwork, on his feet. And I think, and then I was told Joe Hart's attitude was like, "I'm Joe Hart, I'm Golden Glove winner."
I got to say one thing before we even move on from City. I still think the biggest shock, if there was an odds on this happening, I think everyone would have just said there's no chance of this happening. Which is John Stones playing back in the first team 2 years ago. Yeah. You know, this day happening, I can't even believe we've gone through almost an entire season and John Stones is somehow back in your starting 11, which is amazing. And from that perspective, I think John Stones has to get applauded for loyalty, because I can't believe he's even there, and I can't believe he didn't try to find a way out sooner. To be honest with you, I can't believe that, and he's ended up staying there. Now he's obviously got his shot 2 years on, so fair enough.
Another player that had problems, he had off the field problems at Man City, well documented around there. You know, his family life wasn't the best, and I think he split up with his wife and things happened like that. So his head wasn't right, but then he's obviously wanted to stay, knuckle down and fight for his place. And you've got to admire players like that when they do that. You know, it's easy to jump ship and run away, and everyone will say, "Oh, it was a bit too big for you and you weren't good enough." But John Stones proved that if you knuckle down, there's a way back. You know what I mean?
I want to go on to United's win against Tottenham, because I you know me, I struggle to give United credit on the best of days. I don't know how much credit do I want to give out, but I have to be fair here. I think Paul Pogba deserves a special mention. He was really good, really good. I think he got 2 assists in the game, set up the Greenwood goal at the end. He was a standout for me. Tottenham took the lead. Obviously, Son as well, pretending he got. I don't know. Did he get poked in the eye by McTominay? Akeem, what really happened?
I mean, look, it's one of those difficult situations where 5 years ago, 10 years ago, never would have been given. It's just football. It's the way that players fray their arms. It happens all the time. I mean, people slowed down another situation where Pogba done an elbow to Son. It's unintentional, and it's just the way players play when they're trying to gain control of the ball. It wasn't a foul in my book. It shouldn't have been pulled back, but obviously in the technical arm of the game now, that it is. But I was fuming, and I'm still annoyed by that goal, to be honest with you, being disallowed, obviously. But it happens, every week we've got a new story on VAR or refereeing.
We got that as well.
What in your game?
Yeah. The equalizer. I don't know what part of Jota was offside, because the lines, the way that they put the lines, Jota was well onside, but apparently he was offside. And even on some of the football programs, the pundits are still trying to work out how it's offside and how they come into decisions. It's like they're trying to disallow goals by any means necessary. So it's just some of the decisions it's like they're getting worse. Like towards the end of the last couple of weeks, the decisions are getting worse. And you're saying there's one this evening in the West Brom game, another bad one. It's like it's just continuously getting worse, Do
you think they'll ditch this technology, or do you think they'll keep using it into next season? Because it's one of those ones where, like you said, it seems to be getting worse. So at some point, I feel like even the human error. At least I knew they were humans, so it's fine. You can make errors. I was kind of accepting of it.
Yeah, it's the offside for me. It's the offside one they need to really sort out, because it was meant to improve the game, but it's still an interpretation of whoever's in charge of it. Like, if I could think the line's there, Steve could think the line is somewhere else where it's onside. He could do another line that's offside. It's just, I think if they had the technology where it was done by an actual computer doing it, then
the other day it was Fulham. Villa, I think, and it was another crazy decision. Someone's even clipped it up where they've even showed that it was literally wrong. You could see the arm. You could actually see the arm being on the other side. It was clearly onside from that perspective. But I think the handball rule is also stupid. I think one of the things that they need to get right is they need to make it factual somehow. And instead of that, they're making it very opinionated, where I know the technology is great of slowing down and watching the action over and over again, but it needs to be conclusive so there's no argument. One of the good things about in tennis, for example, I know it's completely different because it's similar to goal line technology. It's very simple. It's either over the line or it isn't. Regardless of your opinion. And there needs to be some form of upgrade in that technology that shows a type of line, even if it's not a line that we all agree with, it's one line that is used and it's either onside or it's off. Simple as that. No, there's no confusion. In fact, it should literally just be that one line that is used throughout the entire game. But at the moment, we're using so many different angles and different lines, and that's what's causing the confusion.
It's a strange one, and obviously, in the end, two young players ended up performing quite well in Greenwood and Trent. I'll start with Trent, because it's been a wild week for him, as me and Big Steve were saying off air. That's what the majority of the Big Six show was taken up by last time he was on. He obviously got the winner and didn't have the greatest game in Madrid there. Obviously, everybody knows that. Where do you see his position in the future? Because I keep making this comparison to Steven Gerrard when he started at right back and he moved forward. And he moved into midfield. And Trent, when people speak about Trent, they always speak about his attacking abilities, his crossing, his shooting, his free kicks, his delivery, his passing. And I think to myself, okay, then why is he not playing in midfield? Like, why is he not playing further up? Do you know what I mean? And what I mean, from a Liverpool perspective, what do you think about that? And I'll get everybody else's take.
Yeah, I think a lot of people like. I want to see him as a right back. I know everyone's saying push him into midfield. Gerrard started there, but he's no Gerrard. And let's get this straight.
Not yet.
Not yet. Not yet. But
I'm like, yo, that's Gerrard.
No. Like for me, I think for me he's a right back. I want to see him at right back, and I think some of the stuff he does at right back, you may not necessarily get the opportunity to do in midfield. You ain't got the space that he has at right back. He's defensive. Like, listen, the guy's only 21. Like, we're not saying he's the greatest defender in the world. We know he's not. He will make mistakes, like we saw in Madrid. But for me, I want to see him at right back going forward. You can dabble with him maybe in the midfield in some games, but predominantly I want to see him at right back. And he is working on his defensive attributes. He has been getting exposed, like obviously because the other centre backs weren't in, and I think Klopp could have helped him a bit. We've given him some guidance and some certain things in certain games. You know, he's just kind of just left him to go and carry on playing. Where I'll be honest,
I think.
Like now, I think like we mentioned it a few weeks back, like he has kind of thought like he's taken a bit of seniority back there, and I think he's sorted out his defensive game a bit. But listen, the guy's only 21, and he's still developing. If you look at other players at his age, defensively, you know, I mean, I'm sure they weren't the finished product that everyone raves about. So, you know, I'm Trent for right back, to be honest.
Yeah, we spoke about it on the Big Six.
Yeah.
And sorry, just one of the things I said is maybe he needs a bit of competition. Maybe you see it with Luke Shaw at Man United when they signed Tellers. Luke Shaw upped his game. Now you ain't getting him out the team. You've seen it with Kyle Walker when Cancelo came in at Man City. He upped his game. And then I think if Liverpool can sign an up-and-coming right back that fancies his chances up against Trent and thinks I'm going to have this right back position my own, I think you'll see a different Trent Alexander-Arnold. I think he'll step it up another level.
I mean, my opinion is slightly different. I think like what Matisse originally mentioned, I think he is ultimately, you know, at some point needs to see himself play further forward. I don't think because look, in the modern day game, he is obviously a right back and a very effective one. You know, he's still one of the best, but he's just not good at defending in comparison to a lot of the other defenders that we talk about, especially if you talk about England. You can pick them off. You know, look, you know, Wan-Bissaka, you know, Reece James. You know, there's so many fullbacks that look. You know, in comparison, look, and it's not a Liverpool thing. Robertson's a great defender in comparison, but I just think Trent is a player who is clearly, when he was younger, clearly played further forward, or he was clearly wanted to play further forward, and he's almost been. Yeah, exactly, and he's almost been molded into this role instead of being a role that is suited for him and his ability. But I think the way Liverpool play, you know, they play with three in the middle. They don't play, you know, their whole style of play in front in terms of the way that they press and the way that they play their game. There is no space for Trent besides where he is now. I think that's the reality. If there was a different setup, there is, you know, he should play further forward. But this is the best position for him under Klopp. I think if Klopp was to leave, let's say at the end of the season, and you were to get a new manager in, and you were to get a new manager in, I wouldn't be surprised if Trent is tried out further forward once the rest of your players are back. I wouldn't be surprised.
Like Steve's saying, Steve did make a great point in terms of competition. Competition for places definitely would kick him up the backside. But I think even this you know, getting dropped by England, not giving a chance, I've seen a slight change in him. Like he's I can see he's really trying to, you know, prove people wrong with his performances. I know, like even against Arsenal, when you saw him put that ball in for the first goal, he celebrated that goal like he scored the goal. You know what I'm saying? Like, and against Villa, it was a great cross. It was a great cross against Villa. He knew Southgate was watching, and I was watching that game. I said, Trent he got mad at he got mad at the match. He got mad at the match. He had a great game, to be fair. But you know, no, Trent.
I'll be honest, Jay. I'll be honest. If I was a manager that had a great forward or a player who could beat a man, I'd stick him right on Trent. If I'm playing Liverpool, that's what I'll do. I'll stick him right on that side and literally just terrorize him for 90 minutes because he is the player. You know, in comparison to Robertson, he gets himself exposed so much during the game. He's the one you can get at.
I think I've seen in the last few weeks a change in his defensive attributes, which I'm going to give him time. He's going to make mistakes, and I'm here for it. You know what I mean? I'm not going to hammer the guy. He's going to make mistakes, but you know, with your players, some players, you got to stick by them, and I'm sticking by him. Like we say, he's got credit in the bank with me, And
Yeah,
I think, you know, like you say, Wan-Bissaka's a great defender, but when he goes the other way, he must get you mad. So, you know, I know he's a right back. So when you say right back is
definitely.
You know,
definitely.
So it's a bit of both. And Reece James, like against West Brom.
No, 100%.
Like Reece James is making mistakes, but he don't get highlighted as much as Trent. Why is that?
I think this season Trent's made more mistakes. That would be why I'd say he got highlighted.
I would say Jay. I would say Reece James is better than both of them, to be honest with you, because he is better going forward and he's a better all-round defender than the other two. The other two that we're talking about is good at one or and not so much good at the other. Reece James is better than
there's too many extremes, I think, with the other two.
Yeah,
is Reece James a better right back or a right wing back? What is he?
He's definitely he's still a right back. He's playing right wing back at the moment, but I still think he's a better right back than he is a wing back. Finally, obviously Greenwood as well scored that goal. What Akeem? Before I go to the rest of the guys, what position do you see him playing in? Because he's played up front before. He's played wing. He's one of those players where I think two-striker system, you probably get the best out of him, but you don't play that.
Yeah, 100%. He's one of the players that I just want him to play down the middle. I want him to play in a 2 or even on his own. Obviously in a 3, but him being in the middle. I feel he's wasted on the wing just because he doesn't have his strength, and the strength that everyone fears is his striking ability. Not only is he a lethal finisher, but he strikes with so much power. He puts his foot through it 9 times out of 10, and he's actually usually on target. I saw a stat the other day which was incredible on his accuracy, his shooting accuracy in comparison to the other top strikers in the world, and it's frightening over the last 2 years, considering how little he plays. And I feel like Greenwood, that is his strength. But unfortunately, when he is on the wing and when he only plays 30 minutes of a game, he only gets 2 or 3 shots in a game. And normally he puts one of those 3 away. So imagine if he actually got on form and was playing 90 minutes at a time and he actually had 5 or 6 chances a game. You know, he will be lethal. But unfortunately, I feel when you have a pacey player that's young, a lot of the time, you're just subjected to automatically putting him on the wing because this is modern day football now.
Walker, isn't it?
Yeah, like modern. It's just modern day football. Whereas the reality is, his strength is through the middle. He may not have the intelligence to maybe play as a striker on his own at the moment. 100%, I agree there. But that's where he needs to be molded. And I think with a good coach, he can be molded into an elite striker over the next 5 to 10 years, in my opinion.
Which you don't have currently. Good coach. Oh, it's a shame. But hey, we keep it moving. The title race is still on, as Akeem says. I put that in the title as well, the little quotation marks, because I didn't agree with it. The people were questioning before I got in it. Why is there a title race even in the title? I said, I'm doing it for Akeem because you did predict this, so fair play. It's been a very good weekend. People, we're going to wrap up there. It's been a great one again. We've had a lot of shock results. This time next week, we're going to know who's in the semi-final of the Champions League, so that should be fun.
Won't be United.
You have a Europa League game this weekend, isn't it, Akeem?
Yeah, and we'll be in the Europa League next. Well, look. Well, no, you'll be in the Europa League next season. Sorry,
we're getting top 4. We're getting top 4.
No chance. But look, hopefully, I think by the time we see each other next time, the gap will be down to 8 points. The sweat is on, and it will be squeaky bum time, as we all know that famous.
You know what? I hope we'll win it by 1 point just to set the piss.
Goal difference.
I'd love it just to set the piss again. Man City is what we do, innit?
Well, guys, that's been the show. My Wi-Fi has been absolutely abysmal, so I'm not even going to carry on any longer.
Selfies again, now.
It's been. I think it's because it's the second upload of the day. Potentially, just can't handle it any longer. So the links will be in the description. Big Steve's Instagram's down there as well. Check out the Terrace Cult as well. One Leeds Football. Is it One Leeds Channel or One Leeds Football? Am I getting this wrong?
You got it. You got it. It's on One Leeds Fan Channel.
That's it. Yeah. I keep getting confused every single time. I had it in the title wrong the other day. I was like, Jesus Christ, I've got it wrong here. So One Leeds in the description as well. Connor, check that out as well. You're running that channel solely, is it? On a solo, isn't it?
Yeah, man. It's graft, isn't it? Jesus.
That's why, because you remember last week, he's like, I finished a 12-hour shift. I was like, I hope this guy's got someone to help him on this channel.
I need someone on the payroll.
Because I know Mike's got help. So I was like, surely Connor's got help here. But no, you don't. Man. So guys, check out in the description. He's running the solo train there. He's doing a great job. It's ridiculous. And Akeem as well is linked in the description. Instagram's down there as well. And so is Jay, who finally, after many weeks, I stopped saying DJ Jay when it was meant to be together.
just JR, bro. Just JR is good for me.
So the links are in the description, people. And like I said, be back next week for the show, and I'll see you guys next time in a bit. Good luck to Akeem's title race.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go.